Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on, what day is it? Tuesday. Monday, March 9th. Monday, March 9th. This is coming out on Tuesday. Celtics just picked up a win in Cleveland. They're on their little 3-game road trip right now. And we've got plenty to talk about. How you doing, Sam?
I'm good. Anything, honestly, but a little 3-game road trip. It is a big 3-game road trip in terms of competition. They beat Cleveland yesterday, obviously, as we're talking now. Big test in playing San Antonio tomorrow or today as you're hearing this, because the Spurs have been playing awesome basketball. They're 15-1 since February. So it is going to be a massive test for the Celtics. And then, of course, Oklahoma City on Thursday is going to be a big one, too. Reigning champs. First matchup of the year with OKC. Kind of cool that it didn't happen until Tatum was back. So you can get a full range of feeling for that. To get to see both of these teams with him back is cool. But enough of me yapping. We'll talk about what's actually going to be discussed on the show today. Kenny Atkinson said Derrick White is a top 5 player in the NBA. Don't know if this was prompted, unprompted in the pregame presser yesterday in Cleveland. Jaylen Brown spoke about Wemby, who they'll see today as you hear this, of course. And the Celtics are as close as they have been since the first week of the season to the number 1 seed. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll do your emails. We'll go around the NBA. We'll talk about Adam Silver's war on tanking, and then we'll do the rat list and get up out of here. It should be fun. Stick around through all of it. We are here every single day with new stuff. Full pods like this one, Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Game recaps are up north after each game. Other videos are here in between to keep you up to date with everything Celtics. But yes, without further ado, Kenny Atkinson loves nobody more than Derrick White.
Yeah, this was prompted by Kenny Atkinson being asked about the Celtics' success without Jason Tatum this year. And he just said Derrick White's a top 5 player in the NBA. He said Derrick White's a top 5 player in the league. I know no one says that in standard media, but analytically, if you look at all the advanced stuff, he's a top 5 player in the league, superstar. Obviously, people responded to that saying, what the hell is bro talking about? Joe was asked about it in his presser. Said at the end of the day, you guys don't have a ton of access to the advanced analytics, so I think that's part of it. Second piece is that the type of player is just not commercialized. But at the end of the day, do you watch a connector? I think one of the hardest things to do in the NBA is learn how to have complete confidence and also be a connector, make other people around you better. And I think he does both of that. And then obviously Kenny Atkinson was asked to expand upon that because it was quite the quote. And I can play the clip of his overall explanation as to why Derrick White is in fact a top 5 player in the NBA. So here's what Kenny Atkinson had to say for that.
This is probably what probably people aren't measuring is his defensive impact. I know that's hard to measure, and it's hard for your kind of average person. So there's, and everybody, maybe mainstream looks out just the offensive, but he's an elite elite on both ends. So that equals, to me, for coaches in this league, for players in the league, that's how we look at him as a great player in that bucket. So, again, analytically, I think it's probably proven in various places that he is that player. And that's how we treat him. He's really disrupts you defensively. He's an elite rim protector. And people don't really like a guy, probably the best guard rim protector in the league. So just take all those things and put it in there. And with the shooting, you got a great player. This is probably what.
Listen, man, I've said this for months now. Derrick White's the defensive player of the year. If Wemby doesn't play enough games, he's the defensive player of the year. And he's not going to get it. He's not going to win the award. And Wemby's probably going to play enough games anyway, so it won't matter because Wemby's Wemby and he's insane. But, Derrick White's an unfathomably good defender. People can't grasp how good he is as a defender and how important he is to what the Celtics want to accomplish on that end. And not only that, when you look at estimated plus minus and these advanced stats, and again, Joe Mazzulla referenced stats that people that outside of the team and the organization and the NBA don't have. People aren't going to know a lot of these things, and this is one that we do have access to. If you look at you know, offensive plus minus, Derrick White is nothing crazy, right? He's a good player, but he's not an insane player. He is plus 2.7, I think he was. Yeah, so he's up there, right? Peyton Pritchard's up here too, 2.9. Tatum's 2.9 in his small 2-game sample size. Defensively, he's a plus 2.7, but as Kenny Atkinson pointed out, when you add them together, he is one of the most impactful players in the entire NBA. Like it's a pretty big difference. He is behind only Jokic, Shea, Kawhi, Luka, Wemby, Giannis, Donovan Mitchell, then Derrick White. And if that's not a superstar, I don't really know what is. So listen, again, is he a top 5 player in the league? Probably not. However, is it that crazy to say so? According to stats, probably not.
I really think there needs to be like a new the way that we talk about positions in the NBA should actually be more fitted to roles. Like it should be it sounds weird, but like in soccer, like they have like different formations that they come out in. So like guys have different positions based on the formation and so on. It's almost like in basketball where, okay, like if you're asking Derrick White to be the top guy, then he's not going to be a good top guy. But if you're going to ask him to be the third option and play defense and be your defensive playmaker and to do that, like he is one of the best in the NBA, as Jack just laid out. Like his impact on winning is undeniable, right? I don't know what the solution to all this is. I don't know what you would actually redefine positions and talk about guys in roles rather than like just guard, forward, center, which is somewhat out the window now. Anyways, over the last 10 years, you don't hear position talk as much. They play positionless basketball. But even if it was like something like as a roamer or as the like, I don't know. I don't have a ton of great creative names for these things, but I feel like there is a way to define this where Kenny Atkinson saying that Derrick White is the top 5 player in the NBA is not like a clickbait newsworthy headline that people have to feel the need to argue with, or like the aggregation accounts feel the need to share so they will get engagement, knowing people will be like, well, he's not better than Jokic. He's not better than Shea. He's not better than Wemby. He's not even the best player on his team. Like, I just feel like there's so many ways in the NBA to quantify the fit in effectiveness that even ranking guys at times is a little bit ridiculous. It's just more of like, how good are they at what they're supposed to do and how much value are you getting essentially on their contracts is really what it boils down to. And if you want to talk about contracts, getting that kind of game-changing production on somebody who's making what, 30-ish million, it's pretty good in today's league. So Derrick deserves all the praise. Probably going to get all defense this year. Didn't get it last year somehow. And the return is extremely warranted.
Yeah, listen, people just don't watch defense. Like at the end of the day, that's just kind of what it is. Like people don't care about defense. It's not considered as a factor in a lot of people's arguments when they talk about basketball. People care about defense only when it is to the degree of Victor Wembanyama, or to the degree of Rudy Gobert, or to the degree of Draymond Green. And people don't really look at it through the lens of a guard as much because it's harder to measure, because they aren't necessarily at the rim stopping every shot. But Derrick White is. Derrick White is at the rim stopping every shot, but he's 6'4", so people don't see it as much. It's just like too much of a nuanced conversation for people to have on SportsCenter or ESPN. Like you can't go on ESPN and say, did you see, how good Derrick White was last night, helping over from the corner and, stopping shots? He only had one block, but like that, no one's going to watch that. Unfortunately, like that's, I would love to watch that. I think a lot of Celtics fans would love to watch that, but that's not as cool as, oh my God, Victor Wembanyama just caught a shot halfway through the air. Right. So people aren't going to talk about how great of a defender Derrick White is and how insane of a season Derrick White is having as a defender, because it's not as sexy or it's not as good for TV as Luka Doncic just put up 40 points but gave up 50 on the way there, because no one talks about the second part, right? So it's just like kind of how it is, and that's kind of how it's laid out. I'm pretty sure Derrick White is like top 5 in the NBA in stocks this season. He is an unbelievable rim protector. He's 5th in the NBA in total stocks, which is ridiculous. He's averaging 1.3 blocks a game, 1.4 blocks a game, something insane. Like what he's doing on the defensive end this season, while also being the Celtics' main point of roamer, 1.5 blocks a game and 1.2 steals per game, both career highs, while also being the Celtics' main rim protector / roamer / helper, whatever you want to call it. He somehow got top 10 in DPOY last year and didn't make all defense. He should be all defensive first team this year. I don't know. Yeah, people don't understand his success. And then on the offensive end, everyone looks at the efficiency. He's been one of the Celtics' best playmakers this year. He's been an elite connector, as Joe Mazzulla said. He is still top whatever I just pointed out in offensive plus minus. He's been a positive on the offensive end this year, despite the fact that he's not shooting the ball well. Like it's just it's efficiency and it's points, and that's what people look at, and that doesn't define Derrick White. But I don't think Kenny Atkinson's far off in his attempt to give Derrick White credit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an efficiency guy. I love, talking about field goal percentage and, how valuable the shots you are taking. That's just something I feel like is important for an offensive, point of view. But the game is not all offense, as Jack just so aptly laid out. There's so much more to it. And if you really want somebody to chew on and think about, as the PrizePicks ad will be coming momentarily, just think about how well Derrick can thrive and raise his efficiency. The things that he has come up short in this year, undeniably, with Jason Tatum back. Like he's seeing less attention from defenses. One of the reasons why you look at the efficiency this year and you're like, oh, it's not as high as I would like. He's seeing more focus. He's getting defensive pressure. He's being asked to take more difficult shots at times, because for a lot of times this season, he was put in position to try and create offense for the Celtics without Jason. And if Jaylen wasn't on the floor, or Jaylen was getting double teamed, or he had an off night, sometimes the responsibility would fall on Derrick's shoulders. I thought Friday was a really good example of what you could be on the lookout for as the games go on with his offense. But defensively, he is delivered even when the offense isn't going his way, which is another character trait that is important for winning players in the NBA. Some guys will only really give you an effort if things are going their way and they're feeling good, right? Like we learned last year, he was saying, he was kind of lost his joy for a stretch when shots weren't going in, and shots really haven't gone in this year. But I don't think that that's taken away from any of his production, which is a huge benefit to the Celtics and a huge testament to the kind of player he is and the type of pro he is, as somebody that they've now committed tons of I don't even know what the word is. I want to say responsibility on, which is fair. They have built a foundation of this team on him, knowing that he can deliver on defense.
Yeah, I mean, like we both said, the impact is just not measured in the stats. Even I don't even think efficiency is a fair way of measuring his offensive. I think the efficiency talk kind of destroys sports conversations a lot of the time. You've got people saying Jason Tatum's finals run was terrible because he didn't shoot the ball well. You just didn't watch the games. I know he didn't shoot the ball well. You didn't watch the games. It destroys kind of the conversations around sports, because it allows people to say, oh, look, he's not shooting this. He's bad. It's not. Watch the basketball games. Regardless, PrizePicks, best place to win real money sports action. This basketball season, this hockey season, this whatever season you may like, you can check it out over on PrizePicks. You can shoot your shot on PrizePicks and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. That's right. PrizePicks is now giving you $50 in lineups when you sign up and play your first $5. PrizePicks makes every dunk, every dime, and every board that much more exciting. So don't miss the chance to get started on America's #1 app for sports picks. PrizePicks is super simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. Pick from all your favorite sports, anything from basketball, baseball, hockey, UFC, soccer, college basketball, tennis, golf, esports, and more. New feature on PrizePicks as well, which is the early payouts. If your player gets off to a hot start, you now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. On PrizePicks, how you play is up to you. If you want flexibility, choose Flex Play, where you can get paid even if one of your picks misses. And if you want the biggest payouts, go for the power play no matter how you play. PrizePicks is a great way to put your takes to the test. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Back to Celtics. Jaylen did a stream the other night. I think this was after the Mavericks game.
Correct.
And he was doing some film. He was watching some basketball and ended up talking about Victor Wembanyama, to which he said, that boy Wemby is a problem, a big problem. When I say I'm the best two-way player in the league, it's not counting Wemby. He's not even human. I'm the best human player. I'll play the clip so you can understand with the tone and the context of Jaylen's voice, because I think that's important. But this is in fact what Jaylen had to say about Wemby.
That boy Wemby is a problem.
Yeah. Told you this.
Big
Big
problem.
back.
When I say I'm the best two-way player in the league, it's not counting Wemby. Like, Wemby don't count. Wemby don't count. He not even human. I'm the best
Human player.
human player.
So there's the context, and you know what, Wemby is indeed a problem.
Yeah, Wemby's been awesome this year for the Spurs, and he's a big part of why San Antonio is where they're at this year. I said at the top of the show, 15-1 since the start of February. They just beat the brakes off the Rockets on national TV on Sunday night. Wemby had just a dominant 4-person through traffic dunk where he picked up the ball at like the top of the half circle, 2 huge steps to the basket, and does a reverse dunk. Like, he does things that nobody else can do. Defensively, he's somebody who you don't even want to go inside when he's there, because he can contest shots like nobody else. He also is like inventing new ways to try and invite people to come and score in the paint and try their luck on him. Like, he'll act like he's not paying attention to somebody as they drive to the hoop and then just pivot and block them as they think he's looking in the other direction, trying to play a pass or trying to stick to his man or whatever it is that he's trying to convey. When he tricks guys, it is one of the more special things. But yeah, he's going to be somebody that's going to be a big test for Boston on Tuesday. Seeing him in action and seeing Nimi try and battle him, or see Luka Garza have to battle Wemby at times, will be something to maybe cross your fingers about, hope it goes well, and that's really all you can do.
I mean, yeah, the last time they played, Wemby looked like a monster. I mean, he looked insane. Baylor Shireman was guarding him, and you know what? Baylor Shireman probably did the best job of anybody, which is insane. So, I don't know how they'll do it on tonight, I guess, as you're listening to this. But I'm excited. It'll be a challenge. They are one of the best teams in the league for a reason, thanks to Wemby, which is terrifying because he's 22, 23. Yikes. That's it's gonna be a long time. It's gonna be a long time with Spurs basketball.
Wemby in his last 5 games has not had a game where he had less than 4 blocks.
And they came back from down like 25, 26 against Clippers, something insane.
Yeah, 25.
You know what's really scary though? Fuck the comeback, fuck the on-court stuff. Wemby made that comeback and was crying on the court after the game and went into his press conference and said that was the best 30 hours of basketball of my life because it was back to back. The league's dead, dude. He was crying because of how much he loved a comeback win in a back-to-back regular season against the Clippers. Just imagine this dude when he gets to the playoffs. I don't even know. It's gonna be a long 20 years.
Yeah, he's only 22, and Jack kind of hit on this. Like Joe Mazzulla all the time talks about care factor, and he has the care factor. Like, Wemby cares so much about, as you said, like beyond the basketball stuff, that he made the Spurs pick out the best fans and make a legitimate like European soccer type fan section. Yeah, he handpicked the fans to be in this fan section at Frost Bank Arena in San Antonio every home game because he wanted to make the atmosphere better. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen somebody, maybe it's just because he's kind of young, so he's like still really excited about like the prospect of being a professional basketball player, which is a crazy thing to say, but like after a while to these guys, it's just normal, right? Like it is their job at the end of the day. But to him, it truly is a passion thing. So it's actually like cool that you can root for a guy who is so gifted and has all of like the built-in advantages of being 7'4". Whereas like usually when somebody is just like nasty, you're just like, oh well, they're supposed to be good, so I actually want to see them lose. Like I don't really feel that way about Wemby yet. Maybe when he starts running through teams in the playoffs, or if he beats the Celtics in a big game, I'll start to hate him. But it seems like that is going to be a difficult thing to do.
Yeah, no, he's insane. It is funny. Patrick Beverly tweeted, "Y'all love moving the goalpost," because when Wemby cried after the game, it was love for the game. But when he cried, everyone made fun of him, and he's right. I was never on the make fun of Pat Bev thing. Shout out Pat Bev. He's a good point. Anyways, okay, last Celtics thing before the email. This will kind of bleed into NBA standings a little bit later, but we'll talk about it here because it is Celtics. Pistons are on a losing streak, and the Celtics are on a winning streak, and they are officially 2.5 games back of the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference with Jason Tatum back.
Yeah, and I kind of want them to go and get the 1 seed. I don't know how possible it is. For perspective, the Celtics are 3 games back in the loss column. They also do not hold the tiebreaker over the Pistons. So essentially, they're going to have to outperform the Pistons by 4 games towards the end, like through the last month or so of the season. Not easy to do.
3 games.
Well, they have to hope Detroit. They have to. I'm having trouble putting this into words. Detroit has.
They're 2.5 games
losses.
back, so they have to outperform. Yes.
Okay,
so I see what you
losses,
mean. So
yeah.
4 games because I see.
Yes, like Detroit still has a game in hand over the Celtics where they can pick up an extra win and even that out and go back to 3 games, and it's kind of in their control. So the Celtics will have a lot of ground to make up, but when we eventually look at the standings, like NBA.com right now already has the playoff bracket if it were to be today up, so you can kind of see what it's looking like. And the side that Detroit is on is Detroit, Cleveland, and Toronto, plus whoever emerges from the 8, 9, 10 in the play-in, which at this point could be Charlotte, but I struggle to imagine Charlotte being in the 8, 9, 10 with the way that they've been playing, even though they've lost 2 straight now at the end of the season. Like they've just been one of the best teams of basketball since the new year, and the other teams around them are so mediocre that should take them past them over the next month. So you may end up having 2 and 3, whether it be Detroit or Boston, New York, or Detroit, New York, the 6th seed, and then Charlotte, all on the same side of the bracket, versus 2 kind of mediocre 4-5 teams, Toronto, Cleveland. Toronto's not even that separated from the rest of those teams anymore. That's how bad they've been. But it would be a much more favorable path to deep in the playoffs if they ended up as the 1 seed.
Yeah, I mean, it would certainly help to play not the Knicks or the Sixers in the second round or the first round. They might end, I mean, they could end up playing the Sixers in the first round. I think the Knicks, the Sixers, and the Pistons are the teams that play the Celtics the best, and so avoiding them for as long as possible is the best possible pathway. But then again, like we say that is the best pathway now, that side of the bracket. The standings are subject to change a lot in the last 2 months of the season, so who knows? That said, it would be pretty cool if the Celtics did climb up to the 1 seed in the East. For what it's worth, JB Bickerstaff is still favorited for Coach of the Year, 2.5 games ahead of this version of the Celtics. Nasty work. Terrible. But anyways, we can move on. Oh, go ahead.
No, I mean, I think Joe should definitely get a shout, especially like relative to expectations. It is hard. I know Joe has said like
he's the Coach of the Year. It's not a shout.
Be staff of the year, according to him. So like, I was saying it's hard because like I want to credit him solely for like Baylor Shireman turning into this type of a rotation player, getting good minutes out of literally everybody he puts on the floor, but I think that like bleeds beyond him, even if he is at the top of it. And to me, like that is like the true definition of coaching. And like, how many years did we say Brad Stevens should have won it and he never did? Which is, thumbs down to the rest of the league. But
Spoelstra
Spoelstra still doesn't have one.
never won it. The terrible.
That's the tax of having good players on your team.
No, it's the tax of never being the 1 seed, or even when he was 1 seed. We talk about good players. If I told you, Sam, that the Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo Heat were the 1 seed 1 year, now hindsight,
It's true.
Good players, my ass. Like, I'm sorry, give me a fucking break. Those guys are good. 1 seed, fuck off. Come on, what are we doing? Giannis, Embiid, and Tatum were in the East, and they were the 1 seed. The coach of the year. Anyways, emails. A reminder, as always, you guys can email us at hbtcpod@gmail.com. That's hbtcpod@gmail.com. I don't know how many we have, but we haven't gone over the email in a little bit. So
we've got a couple at least.
We have a couple
yesterday.
Okay, perfect. We do have, I believe, one from RJ because, yeah, I wasn't there for the last pod. So
I did go through them with Nick. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
I did not delete them, which is on me.
No, it's okay. They're marked as red. We have one email from RJ. This is every game is different. Afternoon, everyone. Another easy win in Cleveland. How easy? The Celtics never trailed after the first 5.5 minutes. And once they pushed the lead to double digits early in the second quarter, they kept the margin that or larger for 31 minutes of the final 34. Also, meet your Celtics playoff rotation. Well, version 1 for the first round. Baylor and Ugo get the nod over Walsh because of the experience. Shireman in college, Gonzalez in Euroball. And Coach Mazzulla seems comfortable with Garza, enough time to give Keita a rest. We'll see what it looks like at the against the height of San Antonio. Be well, RJ, who still worries about teams applying pressure full court. Yeah, I mean, pressure is going to bother anybody, but I
didn't think it actually bothered them yesterday. Like, I was watching the Cavs try and full court press, and I was just like, why are they doing this? It's not working. Like, the Celtics didn't have their greatest offensive game yesterday, but Cleveland was struggling to get out of the mud. And it almost felt like they were wasting energy by doing something that didn't necessarily correlate to, like, turnovers or anything. Like, yes, you're taking time off the clock. Yes, you're giving the Celtics less time to get into whatever action that they're trying to run. But whatever personnel they were using to do it was not good enough to really make a difference to me. But yesterday I thought was up there with one of the wins of the season. I just thought the widespread effectiveness of this team was something to be excited about. And when the playoffs roll around, to tie it back to RJ's email, like, okay, you can trust Baylor Shireman. You can trust Sam Hauser. You can trust Peyton Pritchard to create shots for you in big spots. Like, those are things that you can keep with you as they approach, as you think about potential playoff matchups and compare it to other teams that you may not feel like have that same depth. And getting a win over a Cleveland team, even without Jared Allen, which is not nothing, it's worth noting. It's a starting level, all-star level player that they didn't have, was huge because they've been good. They've been really good with James Harden. They're 8-2 now. They were 8-1 going into the game. They have found something clearly with him in the lineup, and you didn't even really feel him yesterday.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. I think inevitably pressure is going to hurt anyone. I think the less time you have to get into your offense, the better. But like you said, it didn't really do much against the Cavs. Like, I don't know. I just don't think the Cavs are a very good team. I think they're kind of fraudulent. Donovan Mitchell's great, and he'll beat you by himself in a playoff series. But the rest of those guys, yeah, that team doesn't do much for me. Evan Mobley's a nothing on the offensive end. James Harden's James Harden. Dennis Schroeder's good, but like, I don't got much for the Cavs.
Yeah, I wish I could look. I guess I could pull up their schedule and look like how they've fared against other good teams in the conference, because I fear that the Celtics as a team may just be a bad matchup for Cleveland. I know Cleveland also had a really like mediocre start to the season, if I'm remembering correctly. Like they kind of stumbled out the gates. I remember the Celtics beat them in October, and we were all like, "Whoa, I can't believe they beat the Cavs." And then the Cavs just started losing to everyone, so that win started to mean less. Uh, but yeah, I mean, last year I never felt like they were that great. I do feel like Harden makes them a little bit better. I didn't really believe in Garland like at all as a player. Let's see. They've beaten I'm going to try and look in recent weeks. They've been really hot since like mid-January. They won 5 in a row, lost one, won 7 in a row, lost one, and then they've lost 3 of 4. And then I don't know. Even in their winning streaks, like they beat Denver, they beat the Lakers. They did beat Charlotte in January as they were kind of getting it up. They beat Philly back-to-back times. They have a win over Minnesota. They look like they're winless against Detroit, which is worth noting. And I don't think they've beaten the Knicks either. No, they have not.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Like, I think they're good with Harden, and we'll have to see. But yeah. All right. NBA standings. We talked about it a little bit. The Celtics now being just 2.5 games back of the Pistons at the top of the East. But for the rest of the standings, let's take a look. On top of being 2.5 games back of the Pistons, the Celtics are also 2.5 games up on the Knicks in third place. The Cavs are in fourth, 6.5 games back of the Pistons. Then you got the Raptors and Magic rounding out the top 6 right now. Magic and Heat are effectively tied with 10 games back of the top seed. Sixers in 8th, Hawks, Hornets in 9th and 10th. Hawks have won 6 games in a row now, red hot since the Kuminga trade. Then you got out of the play-in, Bucks, Bulls, Nets, Wizards, Pacers.
Yeah, and I don't think Kuminga has played the last couple games for Atlanta. They beat Philly on Saturday, and he didn't play. So that was a good win for them. Jalen Johnson's been playing really well. He was good in that game. I was watching a little bit of it. Since the All-Star break, Atlanta is 7-1. They have a net rating of 12, which is 4th best in the NBA. They're tied with the Celtics for net rating. They're only 0.3 behind Charlotte, and San Antonio is by far the best team with 13.6. Charlotte has lost 2 in a row, which of course, like, does not reflect what we saw in Boston on Wednesday when they just kicked the shit out of the Celtics, and the Celtics just never got off the mat. They didn't bring it. I partially now wonder if that was like they were aware that Jason was coming back Friday and they were like almost looking ahead to that moment a little bit. But at the same time, it doesn't make a lot of sense that the Celtics would be, especially the way they've played this year, looking ahead to a game or taking the Hornets lately, who have been incredible for the most part in 2026 as a calendar year. Yeah, or Orlando looks like they've figured something out a little bit. They're back from the dead after middling through the middle of the season. And a lot of these teams make you feel like you don't know what to think about them. Like the Knicks, every time the Knicks play the Celtics, they look good, which is not good for us, right? Like we're like, damn, that sucks. And the reason why is because they were specifically built to beat the Celtics. Like the trades that were made ahead of last season were manufactured to beat Boston, and then Boston beat them every time in the regular season. We were all like, that's so funny. And then the playoffs came, and it just didn't work out for the Celtics. Even before Tatum is injured, they lose the 2 games at home, and that's the end of it. That was the series right there. The same could be said for Detroit. Like Detroit getting cold all of a sudden isn't good for them. Cade has missed time. In their collapse loss to Brooklyn, he didn't play. But at the same time, the big concern with them all season has been, can they compete with Cade as the only real offensive guy, right? Like he's the only one that you give the ball to and say, go ahead, create something. The rest of the guys are good in their roles, but beyond that, you don't really have anyone else you could trust, which in a playoff setting is something that scares a lot of the smart people that talk about the NBA. As much as I like the Pistons and I root for the Pistons to do well, especially as beaten down as they've been over the past decade and a half, seeing them kind of become mortal is bittersweet because I'm now in the full like speed ahead Celtics mode. Go get the 1 seed.
Yeah, man. This is why they say the East is so wide open. Every team has a flaw. Like there's no perfect team in the Eastern Conference. The closest thing is probably the Jason Tatum Celtics, and they have 2 games of sample size. So I would say that's probably
Never lost, undefeated.
Makes them a little bit imperfect. But yeah. I don't know. We'll see. The Western Conference, on the other hand, OKC is still up top, but Spurs only 2.5 games back of them. Timberwolves are 7 games back of the Spurs, 9.5 of the Thunder in third place. It's clearly a top 2 in the West. Then you got the Rockets, Lakers, Nuggets rounding out the top 6. The Suns have their own little spot in 7th, and the Warriors, Clippers, Blazers, and then the bottom 5 teams are just the bottom 5 teams: Grizzlies, Mavs, Pelicans, Jazz, Kings.
Shout out to the Lakers, man. They beat the Knicks yesterday. As ass as they are as a team, they showed up big for all of us here in Celtic land. Gave the Celtics another game up on New York after Celtics beat Cleveland. Knicks lose Sunday. Even though since the All-Star break, the Lakers have been a little bit better. They have a net rating of 5.7, which is 9th in the NBA. They're actually right behind Oklahoma City with a 6.9 net rating. Oklahoma City, though, despite the bad-ish net rating by their standards, is still 8-1 in their last 9 games. They're competing well. They've navigated injuries decently well this season. Like, as much as we've all talked about them being underwhelming in the middle months here, they still only have 15 losses. Like, we have all like shifted the expectations for them and been like, maybe they're not as good. And especially with them losing to San Antonio a bunch of times, it kind of helps that go along where there's a real threat to them in the Western Conference now. Whereas going into the season, we were like, well, it's just going to be theirs. Maybe Denver will be able to compete. But beyond that, like, nobody seems scared of them. Like, San Antonio is scary to Oklahoma City. Meanwhile, the Rockets just seem to not be at the same level as some of these other teams. I know Minnesota lost to Orlando on Saturday, but by all accounts, like, that was just a Minnesota didn't feel like playing that day loss. That's what I heard about. I didn't get to watch it. Houston, bad loss to San Antonio. They just continue to have bad losses. I think they lost to the Warriors on Friday or the other day, right? Or did they win that game in overtime? I'm almost positive the Warriors beat them in Houston.
Let me see. Warriors, Rockets score. Warriors won. Yeah.
So they are just like, they remind me 2019 Celtics type stuff where you're like, they should be better than this, but they're not. We can't figure out why. And usually when that's the case, it's just the team isn't that good. Like they don't have the chemistry necessary to take them to the next level. As for the rest, like, everybody seems hit or miss. Denver 5-5 in their last 10. I said it, I think, to Nick on Saturday's show. Like, they just are bad against everyone that's not the Celtics. They show up to play the Celtics and kill them, but everybody else is able to beat them somehow. Yeah, a lot of mid in the West. A lot of mid.
A lot of mid. Anyways, okay, let's go to the NBA. Draft lottery stuff is going to be shaken up. This is Kurt Hallen of NBC Sports reporting. Adam Silver quoted saying, "We are going to make substantial changes for next year," talking about the draft lottery. I think where I'm on the fence, on one extreme, you could completely divorce the draft from teams' records. We argue we could take all 30 teams regardless of the outcome. What? That would completely decentivize tanking. You could win the finals, get the first pick, but then there's gradations of that. Not to exactly forecast where we're going, but I think I am an incrementalist. I think we got to be a little bit careful about how we change, how huge a change we make at once. I'm not ruling anything out, but I am paying attention to that. And then there's something significantly more than, I would say, just tinkering with the existing system. You cannot add all 30 teams to the lottery. That would defeat the point of the lottery. I think you should shrink the lottery. I think he's completely thinking about this wrong, right? The reason that tanking is a problem is because teams want to get better. And in Adam Silver's quest to stop tanking, he's made tanking worse. Because in order to win the lottery, you have to be one of the worst teams. And if you shrink the lottery, yes, our team's going to tank, yes. But they won't tank for as long because they'll actually get the players they need. Right now, the NBA has a system where you can tank for an entire season or be bad for an entire season, not even tanking. Like, the Kings weren't tanking this year, right? And they're just bad. The Kings might not even get a top 3 pick. The Hornets could get the number 1 pick this year. The Hornets don't need it, right? Like the Spurs didn't need it last year. They didn't need number 2. The Sixers didn't need number 3. The Mavs didn't need number 1. They didn't deserve it. But you've built a system where the worst teams don't actually get the best players, so they have to tank for longer. You've made it worse, right? Like, if the Nets had gotten the top 2 pick, like, 4 years ago when they started tanking, they wouldn't be tanking anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like you've ruined it because you're making teams tank for longer. Tanking itself is always going to happen no matter what. But you've made them tank for longer, and that has ruined it, and that has made it more significant.
To me, I just think the problem is beyond tanking. The NBA is now such like a unilateral way or league in terms of building a team. You can, and I don't know if I think this is better or worse for what it's worth, because I think like there is some stupidity to just being able to like luck into like, oh, we're in a big market so we can get free agents type of thing. But free agency basically doesn't really exist anymore. Like there are some decent players that hit free agency, but it's not like the change your franchise type of guys that used to hit like when LeBron became a free agent and went to the Heat, or Kevin Durant joined the Warriors, even though the Warriors were already good. Like there was something extra that went into it where it was like, we don't have to be bad to go and get a guy that can change our franchise. But now, like,
But those moves have nothing to do with tanking.
that's
Because
what I'm
those
saying.
teams are already. Okay, then I don't get your point.
The point is, now the only way that you can get a good player is by being bad. In the only way to improve your roster long term is to land one of those guys that you sign to an initial rookie contract, then you extend them, and then you further extend them.
That's always been the case. Your free agency point doesn't make sense to me because the teams, the two examples you gave were teams that already had established stars through the draft. That's the only reason they were able to sign free agents, because those free agents wouldn't have wanted to go there if they didn't have that structure set up.
Okay, so if in 2010, when LeBron signs with the Heat, if the league was set up the way it is today with the contract extensions, etc., LeBron would probably not have ended up there. Or if he did end up there, they would have had to gut their roster.
Yeah, but they still would have had a top 10 star in the NBA. They still were set up
They
for
have
success.
a top 10 star in the NBA, Jack, but they did not. At that point, they had won a championship in 2006. So Dwayne Wade has already like proven that he's that type of guy. I'm not saying that's not the case, but at that point in time, they did not have a championship level roster. In today's NBA, people would be like, do they need to trade Dwayne Wade to reset, to get more draft picks, to do this, to do that? Are they going to be able to get out of purgatory? In today's league, there is no middle ground where you can be, let's look at the standings, like a team that could use a little bit of extra boost. They have decent players, but they aren't quite there yet. Like, I don't know. Let's look at Phoenix, right? Like, use it as an example. I don't know about their cap space. I don't know about anything of that matter, but they've had a better season than expected. I don't know what the long-term outlook is for this roster because they only have Devin Booker as a long-term, like, superstar level guy. But if there was free agency, there would be a chance that they could pick up a second guy or somebody else to support him.
They don't have the money.
I'm just using the team as an example. Nobody has money anymore because of the way the league is set up. That's why free agency doesn't exist.
But the free agency wouldn't help the tanking teams. Like, no one's signing with the Jazz. No one wants to play for them. Like, no one's signing for the Kings. No one's signing for the Nets, except they did, because they actually used free agency a couple years ago. Like they did use it. Like that's an example of them actually using free agency and setting themselves up to use free agency in an effective way. I don't think that's really connected to the tanking problem, because even in your point, if they did do all that and they did get their roster, there's still no guarantee that they get it. And so they're going to end up tanking for 10 fucking years with no reward or no benefit to the tank, because Adam Silver has set up a system where they're not actually going to get the help they need. The whole point of being bad, the whole point of having a system where the worst team gets the best pick is so they're not always the worst team. But you've created a system where they could always be the worst team. There is a legitimate chance that the Nets never get a top 3 pick for the next 10 years. That is a possibility. That should not be a possibility. The Nets, horrendous. The Nets have been a bad basketball team the last 3 years, and they might still be a bad basketball team for the next 10 years, 20 years, because there is no guarantee that they actually get the purpose of what the draft does. And that's why it's broken. Because there is no guarantee that the Nets, and you can say basketball honor, they deserve it, whatever. I don't care. That's not the point. The point of the draft, the point of having a league where the worst team gets the number 1 pick is so you don't have the same worst teams for 10 fucking years. And that is the system that this lottery has built. That is the system there's always going to be tanking. It doesn't matter. Tanking is always going there is never going to be a way to decentivize tanking if you have a draft. And if you get rid of the draft, then the whole league, it's over, because then the Kings and all these smart market teams and the Nets and the Grizzlies, and no one's going to want to go there. If you just say like, hey, sign whoever you want. Cooper Flagg would have signed with Boston, which I know, haha, we would have liked, whatever. Teams would have signed with the Knicks. Teams would have signed here, there, blah, blah, blah. No one would have gone to the Kings. No one would have gone to the Nets. No one would have gone to all these small market teams. Then you're going to have another problem on your hands. As long as there is a draft, teams are going to tank. It is inevitable. Point blank, period. There's no way around it, because that is the best way, like you said, to get the best player, to get young pieces. What Adam Silver has done to try to, quote, decentivize tanking is make it so the Jazz are having to tank for 6 years in a row. So the Nets are going to have to tank for 10 years in a row. So the Kings are going to have to tank for 8 years in a row, because they're not actually guaranteed to get the whole point of the draft. That's why I believe it's broken.
I agree with you. Like, I think there's a lot of different factors that go into that. Like, I'm not discounting what you're saying. I just think the league itself is so dependent on the draft, whether that, like, every method of acquiring a player now is just draft dependent. It's you either draft them or you draft somebody. Yeah, but okay, what are you sending out in trades? How do you get the guys that you're trading away? You draft them and they're enticing enough to have somebody else want to trade for them, or you're trading draft picks. Like, that is it. And with the widespread, like, I agree with you. Like, there is no, if you're a GM, like, why would you not tank? You have to tank. You have no option. And I think the lottery does incentivize it, because at like the middle of the pack, like, if you're let's look in the West, because the East teams, I think, are a bad example this year. If you're the Portland Trailblazers, like, it might actually be in your best interest to just, like, we're probably not going to make a lot of noise in the playoffs this year. Why don't we go and see if we can win the lottery, just like Dallas did last year? It's the same type of thing. And if you think that de-incentivizes the integrity of the competition, I think that's pretty reasonable. But it's hard, because, like, at the same time, you could be like, well, Silver put in the play-in to try and give more teams a chance to compete in the playoffs. And I just think the reality of the NBA is, like, it is the most predictable league when it comes to actually looking at the playoffs and being, this team is probably going to beat this team. Like, yeah, the Celtics got upset last year and it sucked. But like,
I think that's becoming less and less true. If you think about the last 5 years.
Historically, it is. And recently, it is not. You're right.
Well, yeah, but isn't that the whole point of the trend? Isn't that the whole point of the play-in?
Miami,
like, think about the last 5 years.
23.
Yep. The Lakers made a conference finals run.
Yes.
The Pacers, I know they weren't a play-in team, but, like, if you want to talk about teams that weren't expected to win actually doing something, like,
was Miami,
Pacers just made the finals.
Let me see if NBA.com actually, let me check. When Miami made the finals, Miami was
8 seed.
They were 7. They lost the first game, so they would have been in anyways. Yes. The Lakers were that same year. They were 7. I don't know if any of the 9 or 10 teams have, like, really done anything, which is my point. And
yeah,
with that, like, I don't think I would rather be, like, I would rather not be a 9 or 10 team in the play, and I'd just rather be in the lottery if I were them.
I get it to a degree, but then, like, what if this Celtics team wasn't the 2 seed? What if they got Jason Tatum back and were pretty good as the 8 seed or as the 9 seed, and then had a chance? Like, I think there are examples that could be swayed. I don't know. Regardless of that, though, still, like, what you're saying, if you're saying, oh, I'd rather be in the 10 or 11 seed, I think that just, I think, yeah, no, I agree. I think that backs my point, though. I think that means it's bullshit. I think that means you need to shrink the lottery. I think that means that what Adam Silver is proposing is the exact opposite of what would solve the problem. Because then if the Blazers do intentionally miss the play-in, then it defeats the whole purpose of the lottery. It defeats the entire purpose of actual, like, the draft. That ruins the draft, because the Blazers don't need a top 3 pick. The Nets, the Jazz, the Kings need a top 3 pick. That's where it loses it, because that's why you need to shrink the lottery. That's why the lottery should be like the worst 6 teams in the league. And then you're gonna say, oh, well, then everyone will take for the top 6 teams. Yeah, but then the play-in has purpose, because then no one's trying to deduct the play-in for a 1% chance at winning.
Right. The 30 team thing is crazy, but
Disaster.
it would literally make it so there's no team trying to lose on purpose because there's no point.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. It would absolutely lose on purpose, because if you're the Kings
losing on purpose when you have the same, like if every
the same teams that are losing on purpose right now, because there's still going to be odds. It's not like everyone has the flat odds to win the lottery. So if you're the Kings, would you rather have a 6% chance or a 14% chance? Because there's no point in winning anyways, because you're not going to make the playoffs. So I'm going to tank to get the 14% chance. If anything, it'll make tanking worse, because if you're the Blazers, why would you want to be in the lottery if you're not going to make noise when you can have a 5% chance instead of a 1% chance? So I want to lose every game now to get a 4% better chance. That's where, because everyone will tank. Every team not in the playoffs would tank for the last 2 months of the season. You'd have unwatchable basketball.
I also just don't get. I think like my main stance on this is like I don't care if teams tank. Like it's part of the league.
Yeah,
and if
I agree.
It's bad, then like more power to you. And I know you agree, and I know what you're saying is you don't want to have to see the same teams losing on purpose every single year, because like as like if you were a fan of that team, it would de-incentivize you to actually care about the team, and also like ownership. Like I don't know, some teams don't care if they actually win; they just want to make money. But ultimately, like it does devalue your franchise because you're just always losing, and you have a reputation, so on. It's just part of the game, and like that's where like my feeling on this is like, well, like that's the only way. Like when I'm telling you like that's the only way, it's because like yeah, you have to do it. Like, or you have to have somebody else's pick, like the Celtics did with Tatum and Brown, and hit. You have to hit on the picks too. Like there are teams that are in the lottery that are bad because they don't draft well. And that has a lot to do with this too. Like, let's see. Like Chicago just hasn't drafted. Brooklyn drafted 5.
Chicago's not tanking. Year. Chicago hasn't tried to do that. That's their own fault. Chicago
they've now decided to try. Washington, I wouldn't say they've drafted terribly. They just haven't had.
They haven't had a top 5 pick. But they haven't had a top 5 pick.
Sarr was picked 2nd.
So outside of Sarr. Koulibaly was like 8. Trey Johnson was 6. Like, we're talking about the team that's been the worst for the last 4 years, and they've had one top 2 pick in the worst draft class for the chance. Like, think about all the times that they have been terrible since the Bradley Beal trade, and all of these great drafts
last year.
Yep, the Pistons got smoked a couple years ago.
Smoked.
You know what I'm saying?
Like they still got out of it.
I know, but like it defeats the purpose so much. Like when's the last time the Nets had the top 3 pick? Think about how bad the Nets have been for like 3-4 years now.
I feel like the Nets just haven't had their own draft picks because of the way they built teams.
Let me take a look.
Boston had their draft picks for years.
Last year, the Nets got 8.
Right. They got Yegor, who's actually good.
He's good, but they got smoked out of the top picks, whatever. Okay, yeah. Houston got their pick in the 24 draft. That's one.
Brooklyn last year was 12th in the East. They had 2 Western teams worse than them, so they fell 2 spots in the lottery.
Mm-hmm. The Wizards got so the 15th pick in 2021 was Kispert. That was when they were still kind of good. 2021, right? Since then,
that was the play-in when they lost the Celtics here. Bradley Beal was still on the team. Russ was on the team.
Can I just see draft lottery results by year? Because I would like to see how much teams are getting. Okay, yeah, draft lottery history. Let me take a look at this. 2025, the Mavericks went up 10. The Spurs went up 6. Sixers went up 2. That's the best example there is. Horrendous, defeats the purpose of having a draft in the first place. There's no point. The Jazz went down 4, the Wizards went down 4, the Nets went down 2, the Pelicans went down 3. Defeats the purpose of having a draft because the worst teams don't actually get the best players. It completely destroys the purpose. 2024, so I'm going to track the teams that got screwed. The Wizards and the Jazz got screwed the worst. 2024, Wizards stayed where they were. The Hawks went up 9, the Nets went up 6, but it went to the Rockets. Pistons went down 4, Hornets went down 3, Blazers went down 3. Worst teams don't get the best players. 2023, the Pistons moved down 4. Second year in a row, the Pistons just didn't get an actual player. The next, like the Rockets moved down 2. That 2022 wasn't quite as bad, but you're just having teams who should be getting best players getting certain. Maybe we'll see this year. Maybe it'll be fine. Maybe the Jazz and the Wizards actually will get the picks. But they should just get the picks anyways. They should just like, if you want to like make it so it's not a guaranteed like the NFL draft, that's fine. But having this many teams in the lottery, I think incentivizes tanking, or it makes it defeat the purpose.
I just think everyone needs to stop crying about tanking. I have a significantly less problem with like a team like Philly last year getting a top 3 pick than I know we all talked about it when we were in San Francisco when Nick was on the pregame with us, and that was like the heat of all the tanking talk. And you guys were like, well, like if they have like a guy like this year with the Pacers, like the Pacers next year will be okay once Halliburton's back. So like they don't really need somebody, but like I don't know, like they still had to like endure a shit season. And like I know these other teams have to do it all the time.
The Pacers had to endure a shit season, give them number 1 pick. Every single Wizards, Jazz, and Nets fan would kill you with a stake right now. Like that,
All
that is
3
not
of
the
them.
point. Yeah, but like they just went to the finals. Like they enduring one shit season when the Nets, Wizards, and Jazz have been dog shit for years is not like that just defeats the purpose.
I also feel like the Nets being dog shit for years is a little overblown because they've actually had like good teams to root for this decade. The Jazz were good at the beginning of the decade. It just takes longer in this league than other leagues to get out of like the bottom. And I don't know if that's just because you have to play every team. It's because there are so many games. I'm like kind of like shrugged. Like I don't care about the Nets. I don't care about the Jazz.
That's not the point. What Sam cares about is not the end all be all of what should be solved in the NBA.
You also like have to draft well. Like if you don't draft well, it sets you up to fail. Like the flow chart of things that come after having a high draft pick. It's like, okay, do we keep them for all 4 years of their rookie contract? Absolutely, because we used a top pick on them. We have to try, unless it's like Anthony Bennett. Okay, you kept them. Are you going to extend them? Oh yeah, I don't want to lose them for absolutely nothing. Okay, you extended them. They either are on an overvalued contract now, or you're going to extend them again down the line. So usually that 5th step does not happen to the teams that draft poorly. They just only get to step 4, and then they're kind of stuck with somebody who's taking up too much cap that they can't quite get rid of. And I'm just like, that's like on them.
You got to draft well, but the whole point of a draft is you should have the best opportunity to draft well. The Nets, like the Nets, Jazz, and Wizards should get the number 1 picks. And if they want to go out there and not take one of Cam Boozer, Darren Peterson, or AJ DeBonta, that's on them. But they should have the opportunity to have the best players because they were the worst teams, and that's how it should be. But anyways, we can move on to the next thing, which is the rat list. So I'll let you go ahead, Sam. Rat list.
Rat list is just I was the what does he do guy in my men's league game yesterday. I was awful. We lost the playoff game. I missed all of my open threes. Like I had a very good men's league season shooting wise. Like I was playing really well before we went out west, and then we went to the West Coast. I didn't play basketball for a week, and I haven't quite gotten back into a consistent flow of playing basketball, at least on my like regular basketball days. So I haven't been able to shoot at the same level that I've been shooting, and it sucked for us yesterday. We lost to a team that we beat in the regular season. We were missing a couple good players, which is another thing. But like, I left probably 15 points on the board, like, and that's like being generous to the shots that I would have probably missed regardless, and that's upsetting. We got killed by 25. It's just not fun to be on that end of a blowout. And even though we didn't win a lot of games this season, we were usually not blown out. Like we were close, we were competitive. That was the first time in a while I've just got my teeth kicked in on a basketball court, and I was like, "Damn, this sucks."
Yeah, blowouts. That's never fun. It you get to the end of the game, you're just like, oh, I just don't want to play anymore. Like I just want to like leave. Like I know I'm not gonna win. Like I don't know want to play. I don't even want to play anymore. List, man. What do I have? I don't have much. I've just kind
How
of
was your
slept the
trip to the
last day,
movies?
catching up on my sleep schedule. Movies was good. Hoppers was good. New Pixar movie, actually really good. Recommend if you're a Disney fan or Pixar fan or whatever. Actually, really really good movie. So I'll recommend that. That was good. Um, less good was not being able to sleep the other night at all. That was less good. That sucked. But other than that, not too much to complain about. Been chilling, just hanging out. Yeah, I don't really have anything for the list.
I'm trying to think of like rat list type things that have happened in my life. I've also like been relatively happy. I will say that Friday before the Tatum game, I stayed up near the Auerbach Center because we had morning shoot around availability, and every media member on the planet was there. And there was a scrum for Sam Hauser, who I did not hear a single word of what he said because of the volume of people and also the basketball happening in the surrounding areas. So I hung out at Dunkin' Donuts like all afternoon, which was fine. But to use the bathroom at Dunkin' Donuts, they have to buzz you into the bathroom and you can lock the door. So like if somebody else is trying to come in, like they can't get in. So I'm in there and somebody is asked to buzz in. So I hear the door buzz and then they like try and come in and I'm like, someone's in here. And then like no more than a minute later, they try again. It's like, did I sneak out the back door? Like I couldn't have gone anywhere. I'm still in the bathroom. And like it's not like the bathroom is like in like a section of the restaurant that you cannot see like where people are coming and going. Like if somebody is coming from the bathroom and you're waiting for the bathroom, you can clearly see that that person left. You don't just go to the counter and be like, "Can you buzz again?" Like that made me want to stay in there for like an hour, like whip out my laptop and just work because I was so irritated. I was like, and then when I left the bathroom, I went back to where I was sitting. I didn't see anybody go in the bathroom.
Yeah, that's the employee's fault. That's the employee's fault for not being like, oh, someone's in there. I'll buzz you in a sec. But
Maybe
I guess they have more going on.
That is another thing too, because I had been like, "Hey, could you buzz me in?" And
Yeah,
like I wasn't in there for that long before the buzz happened. I was like, "What is happening here?"
maybe it was a different person trying to buzz in, and it was a different
Could have been.
employee. Like maybe a different
That is
employee
what
went
I
to the
think
buzz.
employee-wise, that it was a different employee.
Hmm. Yeah, it was probably a different employee, different person. So like no one knew what was going on. Unfortunately. I don't really have much else. I think I'm gonna go get a bagel or a bagel sandwich from down the street for lunch today because I'm bored and I want a fun lunch. So I'm gonna go get that. But other than that, I'm good. I've got nothing.
What is this Donna Kelsey home renovation I keep seeing? Have you seen this?
So the thing about me is outside of basketball news, I'm extremely offline. I don't know what's going on. I have no idea. I'll go on TikTok, but in terms of like actual like that type of stuff, couldn't have a clue. No
So
idea.
TMZ posted an article on March 7th, the day after Tatum's return, nonetheless, saying Travis and Jason Kelsey's mom, Donna Kelsey, is in the middle of a home renovation, TMZ has learned. And I think that this has sparked a
meme.
like, yeah, just like a real meme. Like the Heat quote tweeted somebody's post last night where some fan account or something of the Heat had posted Idris Elba of like, I want to put the word out there that we back up.
I see.
And Miami, if I could find it, they posted every press conference. Miami goes, okay, but Donna Kelsey is getting her home remodeled. So I think this is just taken over as everybody's on the same page that nobody gives a fuck, but because TMZ put it out, everyone is like, okay, we're gonna make a meme out of this.
Yes, it was a joke because there's a lot going on. Like Travis Kelsey's a free agent. His wedding with Taylor Swift is happening. Donna Kelsey was just on this TV show, and TMZ was just like, nope, home renovation. And everyone was like I see a tweet that says Travis Kelsey doing whatever it takes to avoid helping mom with the home renovation. millennials have lived with 2 recessions, a global pandemic, Donna Kelsey home renovation. Someone posted like about the time change. Someone tweeted, how will this impact the Donna Kelsey home renovation? We got Donna Kelsey home remodel before GTA 6. So I think it's just
Everybody's in on it.
making fun of how ridiculous the TMZ article about the home renovation is, which I can get on board with.
I heard the wedding's supposed to be in God's country. Did you hear that?
Taylor lives there.
Yeah.
Taylor lives in
His
God's
house.
country. Yeah.
I offered, so Jake Eisenberg is going to come. He's coming next month to cover a couple games. And I was like, I can show you around God's country if you want.
Wow. That's big time. Wait, Jake's coming to Celtics?
Yeah. He's in
Wow.
the Discord, so I was pretty pumped for him. I'm excited to
Shout
see
out.
him.
That's cool. Where is he staying in Boston?
Yeah, he's going to stay in Boston.
yeah.
He hasn't
I'll have
figured
to
out
say
where
what's
yet.
up.
But
I'll have to say what's up.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. That's sweet. Is it just Jake or the rest of them too?
Just Jake, I think.
Okay. I'll have to go say what's up. I think that's all I have. I think that'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah, been pretty pleasant. Haven't been that pissed off lately.
I'm good. I'm all set. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Leave a like, subscribe. I'll let Sam take it out.
Hey, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. We're here every single day with new stuff. Full pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Game recaps drop the morning after each game. Other videos are here in between to keep you up to date with everything with the Celtics. You can find Jack and I streaming pregame live a half hour before each tip-off. Some fun guests coming this week, so be on the lookout. Jack, Nick, and I will be joined by some friends of ours. And yeah, we're on Spotify and Apple too. All pods and recaps are there. So if you just want those, follow. They'll go right to your feed. Leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that very, very much. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. We're reading them every single time we do the show, hbtcpod@gmail.com. Our socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Facebook's the name of the podcast. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter is Jack's Money Day. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Taco, come on.
Taco's having some fun here.
That is bogus.